Juan Pablo Montoya got out of his stricken Williams ahead of the formation lap for the 2004 United States Grand Prix and sprinted back to his garage to take the spare car. Only he was told to run back to his original car on the grid. And then back to the garage again. The Colombian eventually started the race before being disqualified for changing cars too late.
Absolute tragedy for Prost and Ferrari, of course, out of the car, he's not starting.
Ferrari's Alain Prost didn't even make the start of the 1991 San Marino Grand Prix, as the Frenchman was caught out by the treacherous conditions on his way to the grid. McLaren's Gerhard Berger also went off at the same corner, but was able to recover and make the start. Distracted by problems for Heinz-Harald Frentzen, Giancarlo Fisichella made his way to the wrong grid spot in Malaysia 2001.
Giancarlo, what's going on? Everything is normal, sorry, I made a mistake.
Interestingly, the Italian made exactly the same mistake 2 years later while racing for Jordan, but this time was able to reverse correctly into position.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out and the lights are still on and Frentzen has jumped the start. Häkkinen has jumped the start. Now they were on for a fantastically long time. There is a mandatory period when those lights must go out. And in my view, they did not do so. I've never seen this before. Well, this just goes to show that you've got to be prepared for absolutely anything in Formula One, especially the unexpected. I frankly haven't got a clue what happened.
Ralf Schumacher was running second in the 2001 Belgian Grand Prix before it was stopped after 5 laps following this massive crash for Luciano Berti.
What's happening with Ralph's car? It's up in the air.
At the restart, Schumacher was left up on his jacks and was left shaking his head at his Williams mechanics as the field streamed past him, knowing he would have to take the restart from the back.
And there is Ralf, absolutely, I've never seen this before, stranded on his own jacks.
30 minutes before the start of the race, Ferrari's Michael Schumacher collided with the Minardi of Christian Albers, wrecking both cars in the process.
I am damaged the car. Do I need to come back to the pits for T-car?
Yes, please jump out and come to the box, we'll give you the T-car.
Both drivers would start the race in their spare cars, but neither reached the checkered flag.
Combination of little downforce and hard tyres means that the cars will slide around a great deal, and it looks like David Coulthard's gone off on the warm-up lap.
Well, somebody certainly has, and it's a Williams, and it is David Coulthard. Now, this is quite incredible. David Coulthard, for whatever reason, has blown his chances of winning the Italian Grand Prix before it even starts.
A disastrous start for the Stewart team ahead of the 1999 season opener in Australia, as Johnny Herbert's car went up in smoke seconds before the start, only for teammate Rubens Barrichello to then have the same issue just moments later. As Barrichello ran back to take the spare car, Mika Häkkinen, Michael Schumacher and Tora Takagi all struggled to get off the grid themselves, with the latter two having to start from the back at the restart. With changing track conditions at the 1989 Canadian Grand Prix, Nigel Mansell and Alessandro Nannini both pitted for slicks at the end of the formation lap. Having done so, the duo drove to the end of the pit lane and went out on track to begin the race, thinking it had already begun. It hadn't. As Mansell and Nannini raced into turn 1, the grid was still lining up. And when the race eventually got underway, the breakaway pair found themselves over half a lap ahead of the field. Their advantage was soon taken away though, as both were disqualified. Following tyre failures during practice ahead of the 2005 United States Grand Prix, Michelin were unable to guarantee teams that their tyres would hold up during the race. An agreement to reduce speed through the final corner between the teams and the governing body could not be reached, leading to all 14 of the Michelin runners deciding not to participate in the race and peeling back into the pits at the end of the formation lap.
Okay, mate, you know our plan is for the start. Straight in the pits, please, mate.
Only the Bridgestone runners, Ferrari, Jordan and Minardi, began what was now a 6-car Grand Prix on one of the most chaotic days in Formula One history.